Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the Econobox Garage and episode 78 in our Bugeye build. So the focus for this week is going to be getting a coat of primer on the outside of the bonnet. Going to be a lot of dust and filler and more dust and more sanding, so let's get to it. I'm glad you could join me. I hope you enjoy this week's video. In the previous video, I got the rear axle installed in the car. I finished off painting the wheels, and since then I've got the tires all mounted on the wheels, and they're looking great. I do have a set of original hubcaps. I just need a bit of a cleanup. What I'm going to concentrate on this next week is getting the bonnet prepped for paint so that I can get the whole car painted. I'm going to do the bonnet first, and then I'll work on the two doors that you can just see sitting in the car there. I'll flip the bonnet forward, put a sheet of poly underneath just to cover up anything inside there that doesn't need to get dirty. So I've got sanding the roughest of the rust off, but I just thought I'd stop and show you a little bit of the history of the car. So at one point the car was iris blue. That's the color it came from the factory. At some point the car had been painted, it is dark blue. You can see it around the edge here. And an ugly brown interior had been put in. So that's all out. So I'm aiming for Old English white. I've already noticed some old Bondo here is chipping out, and it's just super smooth inside there. It's no wonder the Bondo didn't stick. So I'm going to grind that out, or sand that out, or use a wire wheel, and I'll check all the other spots of Bondo on here while I'm at it. Now, you may have noticed too that some areas already have some epoxy primer on it. When I first got the car, I was kind of tinkering with it a little bit at a time, and I got that area done. Do some more sanding. Going to use the wire wheel on the angle grinder to get the body filler out, and then I'm also going to be wearing a mask. There's lots of silica and all kinds of nasty stuff you don't want to be breathing in while you're pulling that stuff out, so definitely wear a mask, and I'll wear a face shield as well. Well, there's the old body filler out, the spot on the right hand side, one right in the middle. So I'm glad I did this one especially, because discovered there's a little bit of rust underneath the edge of that filler. So I'll be able to clean that all up back to bare metal. I'll try and do my best to straighten that out. And then on the other side, or sorry, on the wheel arch here, it's pretty good. And little spot here. So now that that's done, I'm going to get some probably 36 or 40 or that kind of grit to sand these areas that are going to get new body filler in. So I want to make sure there's lots of bite for the filler, and there's some spots. I'm going to try and do a little bit of hammer and dolly work on some of these spots here, but for the most part I think it will be filler. So that's enough chit chat. Let's see what we can do to get this even smoother. Well, after a couple of days of sanding and filling and sanding, and so I'm ready to get the first coat of primer on the bonnet. But before I can take the bonnet off, I need somewhere to put it. So I just need to clean up my table here, and we'll get that set up. And then we'll get to some final prep and get some primer on. Alright, now that I have primer on the bonnet, at least on the outside of it, I'm going to get to work on the doors. So this is the left-hand side or driver's side door, and this is the passenger side door. Now, a long time ago I did a trial run to see if I wanted to go with the Old English white, so I just picked up a rattle can with some paint and did the door, and decided yes, that's the color I want to go, but I'm going to sand this one right back so that it's painted with the same kind of paint that the rest of the car is. This one is in fairly good shape. There's a couple of little splits. There's one here and one here that I might just put a tack of weld in there just to save it. And the outside of the door is in really good shape. The other door, again, because this door gets used a lot more, it seems to have split a bit more here, and it's split here, and this has got a bit of a, you can see that one is a little bit flexible, so I'll see what I can do about that. And there's a bit of straightening out that I need to do here. Now, one thing I am very fortunate is that I have the trim panels. So this is the one for the driver's door. Slips in there. No, didn't quite get that one in right. There we go. And how these are secured, there's a metal lip around the three sides, and that and this piece of metal is bowed in the hardboard. I'm going to use these as they are, except they are missing a little strip of trim. So this one goes in right like, let's get that one in there. There we go. There. Now, part of the reason the doors tend to split here is because it gets pulled on to close the door quite a bit. So that's a wear spot right in those couple of spots there. So anyway, I'll look after that. These will be recovered to match the rest of the panels in the car. And then I also have the door liners These are the liners from the Bugeye guy. They get glued inside the door and are very close to the original, other than they're black. And those would have otherwise been the color matched to whatever the interior was. Let's look at the other side of this door. Let's get that panel out of there. This door is in a little rougher shape than the other door was, and it's going to take a bit of work. So I may just leave this cover filler in. I'll just have to check in from behind to see if we can get in there. I know for sure I'll take out this one and then straighten this edge out. Looks like at some point they had a mirror screwed to the door with those two holes there. So I think I'm not going to do that. I have different plans for the mirror. Now also, when I was sorting everything out, one of my boxes was door hardware. One of the first things I noticed when I was working on this is one of the hinges had a nail in it as trying to tighten up the hinge pin. So I've decided I'm not going to use that anymore. So I did pick up a couple of other hinges that I'll clean up and use the best of those to replace this one here. So I have the latches. For some reason I didn't put that. So that's the driver's door. There, that's got the latch, the check strap in there. I have new check straps, so I won't be using those ones there. This is that's the latch for that door. And yeah, these are the hinges for the driver's door. And then these are the hinges for this door here. But again, I'm going to pick a good one for those. That's for the trim across the top of the door, and those big knurled screws there are to hold the side curtains on. So I'm glad I have those. That's one of the old check straps. I have the strikers, or whatever you want to call them, that mount the B-pillar. Those get cleaned up. And I also have, this is actually the windshield mounting hardware, so not sure why that's in with the doors, but there it is, and I have it. So that's where I'm starting with the doors, but I'm not going to start until the next episode. So that's it for this week. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to share it with your friends. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and don't forget the little bell icon so you'll get notified when the next video comes out. My name is Ian. This is the Econobox Garage. We'll see you next time.